The Wood Elves, or Bosmer, are the romantic, nimble, and natural-born archers of Valenwood. They have one of the most interesting societies in the Elder Scrolls. It is both one of the most peaceful, yet one of the most disturbing. The Wood Elves, unlike their High Elven cousins, have rejected strict Elven tradition to go live in the beautiful gardens of Valenwood, amongst the giant trees and never-ending seas of green. Do you want to hear more about the Bosmer? Well then listen up, because here's 5 facts about the Wood Elves. Fact number 1, the Bosmer, like all elves, have a common ancestor. Long ago, they abandoned the strict rules and rigid rhetoric of elven society and left for a new home where they could live a more simple and romantic existence. They came to the forest of Valenwood, where they made a sacred pact with the forest god Archery. This pact was called the Green Pact. What this did was allow the Bosmer to live in Valenwood in peace. However, there were specific conditions which the Bosmer had to follow to the letter, lest they risk breaking the Green Pact. The forest god Archery is obviously of great importance to Bosmer society, but this isn't the only god they worship. They actually have their own pantheon, including other gods such as Auriel, Archery, Xerxes, Mara, Stendar, Joan, Jode, and lots more, mainly taking elements from both Elven pantheons and the Khajiit pantheon. Fact number 2, Bosmer are strict carnivores. They only eat meat or what comes from an animal. Even their alcohol is not made from vegetables or grains. They instead drink jagger, which is fermented pig's milk, or rot meth, which is made from fermented meat seasoned with thunderbug organs. One of the conditions of the Green Pact stated that the Bosmer are not allowed to harm any of the vegetation that exists within Valenwood. This means no eating fruit, no chopping down trees for lumber, and no growing crops, which has made them strict hunters utilizing every part of the animal. Furs, leathers, hides, bones, these are what the Bosmer of Valenwood mostly trade in. It sounds rather simple, but there is a more disturbing side to the Pact. As part of the Pact and their role as strict carnivores and hunters, the Bosmer are not allowed to waste any meat. This extends to the enemies they kill in battle, which means cannibalism. If a Bosmer kills a foe in battle, they have 3 days to consume them, or they risk breaking the Green Pact. You may be thinking that because of this, the Bosmer are all fucked up and gruesome, but this part of the Pact has actually kept them quite the opposite. They are some of the friendliest and peaceful people in Tamriel, avoiding conflict because if they killed you, they would probably have to eat you. Fact number 3, since the Bosmer cannot harm the vegetation, they live in the trees and use magic to manipulate the branches to make cities and homes. For example, Falanesti is a city which is a giant walking grat oak tree. The homes themselves are decorated with bones and feathers of kills from the hunts. All of their huts, houses, infrastructure are made from magic manipulation of plants unless they import materials. The Green Pact does not forbid the use of imported woods and resources, so some towns exist with more traditional styles of architecture, usually of different influences depending on its history and culture. For example, South Point is a town with a Colovian style, whereas Marbrook has a Elven style architecture. One good thing is all this preference for trade and need for imported goods has also helped the Bosmer maintain their happy and peaceful demeanors. Good relations, after all, are essential for trade. Fact number 4, the Camoran Dynasty is one of the longest living dynasties of Tamriel. In fact, the first era begins when the Camoran Dynasty is founded. King Eplir performed one of the greatest military feats in history and managed to unite all the tribes and clans of the Bosmer people under one banner. He had done what was considered the impossible and united all of Valenwood. It was a dynasty unlike any other in Tamriel. Do you remember Mankar Camoran from Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion? Well, he was the illegitimate son of Haemon Camoran, better known as Camoran the Usurper, who, with Daedric allies, violently freed Valenwood from the Empire. He then continued north, slaughtering and conquering until he was stopped in High Rock. Factor number 5, the Bosmer are the best archers in all of Tamriel. By the age of 14, a Bosmer is usually skilled enough with a bow that they can accompany hunting parties. A Bosmer is a complete natural with a bow in hand. Some scholars even claim the Bosmer themselves invented the bow. A Bosmer hunting in the lush wilds of Valenwood is simply one of the most graceful things your eyes can behold. They snatch and fire arrows in one continuous motion as they dance with nimble feet through the trees as they hunt down their prey. In accordance with the Green Pact, Bosmer cannot make their fine bows of wood, so if they desire to do so, they must import them. However, traditional Bosmer composite bows are made of horn and sinew, which are considered the finest in all of Tamriel. The strings of the bow are also made from sinew, which is a piece of tough fibrous tissue from a living thing. Sinew from a Khajiit's gut is supposedly the best and prized among the archers of Valenwood. Bosmer also make their arrows of bone. They even believe that the attributes of an arrow are determined by the animal of which the bone came from. For example, mammoth bone arrows supposedly strike with enough force to knock down a target, and bird bone arrows fly faster and more accurately. Subscribe for more juicy fact videos just like this one, hit the like button right in the bullseye, let me know in the comments below what kind of fact videos you would like to see next. Social media links are in the description, I highly encourage you to go there and connect with us, but today that is all from me. I'm Scott from Fudge Muppet, and I will see you next time.